Hi, I'm Nadine. I study English language and culture, specializing in linguistics at Leiden University. Today, I'm going to tell you a bit about why you should study this amazing study at Leiden University. Now, why should you study English language and culture? Studying a language gives you a better understanding of the world around you. Language not only reflects reality, but it can also shape it. The things people say can have an effect on the world around us. In this bachelor, this is something you'll learn, as well as the consequences this can have for society. Moreover, you'll also be focused on resolving case studies. So this way you can improve and enhance your problem-solving skills. Moreover, as well as that, you also have the possibility to acquire and develop other academic skills, such as academic writing, academically speaking or presenting, as well as other practical skills that are important to have as a university student. Now, why should you study it in Leiden? Well, the program we have is a rather broad one. So we have a lot of freedom for the students with regards to elective as well as specializations in many different fields. The program also has an international perspective, as it is fully in English and you'll walk away with a degree from a highly accredited university. You have the chance to choose either to stay on the national job market or branch out into the international job market. And lastly, we have a really personal approach at our program, both from students as well as teachers, but this is something I'll tell you a bit more about later on. What exactly does the program look like? The bachelor consists of 180 credits, so that's 60 credits per year, and each academic year is divided into 2 semesters of each 30 credits. Your first academic year is the broadest, so you have a few introductory courses as well as a few more in-depth courses. In your second year, you'll have still some compulsory courses, but also a bit more freedom for electives. And in your final year, you'll have your thesis, of course, as well as your elective space of 30 credits and the final compulsory courses. Our bachelor consists of 4 main areas. These are language acquisition, linguistics, literature, and philology. The language acquisition courses have to do with academic skills. So they'll be revolved around improving and enhancing your academic skills, such as academically writing and speaking. It also focuses on your grammar, as well as research methods that you can apply in all other fields in English. Our linguistics courses have to do with the structure of English. So this can have to do with the sound system of English or the way sentences are structured, as you can see on the left-hand picture here. It also tries to answer linguistic phenomena, such as how do children acquire language. Our literature courses have to do with works from all different eras. So we discuss Shakespeare, but we also discuss Ovid as well as Margaret Atwood. So these can be very old texts as well as 21st century works. Not only are our literature courses restricted to British literature, we also offer the possibility to choose American literature. So then you get the chance to, for example, read Frederick Douglass's works. Not only does the literature course focus on written text, we also focus on other disciplines such as, for example, film and basically anything that has to do with culture. Lastly is philology. And philology, that one is really unique. We're one of the only universities that offers this, and it has to do with the history of the English language. So we start around the year 500 when people used to speak Old English in England, and we read and translate text from that era, and then we move on to Middle English, for example, by reading the Canterbury Tales. And in these courses, you'll learn how to read, speak, and write Middle and Old English. We also have early and late modern English courses, and these have to do with how everyday people used to speak English. Here is an overview of the courses in your first year. As you can see, the 4 main areas are very clearly visible, with literature and philology being introductory courses. You'll also start your academic career with the language acquisition course, in which you learn how to academically write an essay. Here's an overview of the second semester of your first year, and once again you can very clearly see the 4 main areas. Then when we move over to the second year, the first semester of the second year, you'll see a few compulsory courses such as Introduction to Linguistics and your Philology, Language Acquisition and Linguistics courses. And here you see the chance to choose your own literature specialization. So you have the possibility to choose either British or American literature. And in the second semester, you get the same, you can make another choice, but it's not restricted or limited to the choice you make in the first semester. So you can decide to do both British and American literature. Here's that overview of the second semester. Once again, you see the compulsory courses, Philosophy of Science and English Language Popular Culture, as well as the literature choice that I just explained. And here you can also see that you have a chance to choose a philology course. So we have 2 courses from which you can choose. We have Highlights of Medieval English. That one has to do with the imaginary world of the Middle Ages and the way literary people used to write about that. And we have Early Modern Everyday English. This course has to do with the way normal everyday life people used to talk. So for example, how they swear or how they used to write in their diaries. Here is an overview of the third year, your final year. You see a few compulsory courses, as well as the elective space of 30 credits that you have to fill, and of course your thesis. Your thesis is the ultimate chance to prove all of the knowledge that you've done up in the last few years. And it's your own research, you get to conduct it on yourself, by yourself. And it has to do with a subject that is related to your specialization, and of course, which piques your interest. Here is an overview of the minors that you could choose to fill your elective space with. Because there are a few possibilities on how to fill this space of 30 credits. Minors are predetermined full packages of electives. So, for example, if you're Dutch and you want to get into the educational system, you can decide to do an educational minor. However, you can also decide to branch out. For example, take a minor at a different faculty by doing law, culture, and development. Or if you're really into music, you can do music studies. But there are also other ways to fill this elective space. So, for example, you can decide to do an internship, or you can make your own elective package. That means that you can choose a few of the electives that we have at the university and fill your own elective package with that. And lastly, we also have the possibility to study abroad. That means that you get the possibility to go to an entirely different country, study at a different university, and kind of branch out outside of our English curriculum as well. Well, that was a lot of information, but here is a overview of a week of how it usually looks like. So for 15 hours a week, you'll be busy with lectures and tutorials. In a lecture, a professor explains all of the information of that week. And in the tutorials, you'll start working on that material with your fellow students and your tutor, for example, by use of homework exercises or any other exercises that the tutor seems fit. The rest of the week is self-study. So then it's completely up to you how you learn your materials, how you make or plan in your assignments. That's fully up to you. Your first year has a fixed mentor group. So that means that all of your classes will be done with the same group of people. So that way you kind of get to know your fellow students a bit better. You also have a teacher and student mentor who is a senior student that already knows the faculty and the university a bit better, so they can help guide you if you have any questions or struggles. So they can help you with that. And we also have a study advisor. A study advisor is a staff member who can help you with any questions you might have that are study related, for example, with your study planning or your study program. And good to know, every block finishes with an exam week. So all of our courses are full semester courses, meaning that they have 13 course weeks. And after the first 6 weeks, you'll get an exam to test your knowledge of the first 6 weeks. And then at the end of the term, you'll have a final exam or an essay. So in your exam week, you can have either deadlines for essays or final exams that test your knowledge. But what academic skills exactly do you obtain while studying this bachelor? Well, quite a few actually. So you learn how to critically form your own opinion by conducting your own research. And you also learn how to critically assess information and how to process this in an academic manner. As I said before, you'll also develop and enhance your academic skills such as writing, presenting, and speaking. Successfully completed all of your courses as well as your thesis, what else can you expect after graduating? Well, you can continue by doing a master, because Leiden University has a wide variety of masters. Here are a few examples. So we've got one-year masters, such as English Literature and Culture, or if you'd like to branch out and get more specific, you can also decide to do a linguistics master or a translation master. We also have research masters. These are 2 years, and they go even more in depth in how to conduct your own research. So a few examples of these are arts, literature, and media, or the research version of the linguistics master. In this last one, you go even more in depth into questions about, for example, why the sound system of English differs from that one in Norway, for example. Or if you're from the Netherlands and you'd like to get into the educational system, you can also decide to do the Educatieve Master Engels. With this degree, you have full qualifications to start teaching at any Dutch high school. So there are quite a lot of fields where you can get into with this bachelor. Here are a few of them. So you can decide to go into education, but you can also go into research or into communication and marketing. Because of your knowledge of English as well as the problem-solving skills you've acquired, you can also decide to go into the IT sector. And as you can see, there's also the other category, which is quite broad, but it can have to do with going into media or consultancy or retail or even writing and publishing books. Here are a few examples of jobs that our current alumni are doing. So, for example, you can become a conversation designer at an international bank, or you can decide to do a PhD at an international university. When is this a fit for you? When you've got broad general interests. Because the bachelor is not solely about literature, but as you'll also be spending a lot of time discussing language and culture, it's important that you have these general interests. And it's also good if you're curious about the language, because you'll also be focusing on linguistic phenomena, for example, how children acquire a language. So are you prepared to get involved with that, and are you ready to indulge yourself in writing exercises and a lot of readings? And if you're interested in the interaction between media, language, and culture, then I'm sure this is a perfect fit for you. So if you're sure that this study is the one for you, let's talk about the admission and application procedure. There are a few academic requirements, as you can see on the screen here. And if you have any questions about these, you can always contact the Student Affairs Front Office. They're staff members who are always willing to help you. As part of the application procedure, we also have a matching module. This is just for your sake, to kind of see if the program fits your expectations. So you'll be watching a series of video lectures and answering questions about them, as well as a few questions about your motivation. And on the basis of this, you'll receive an advice. However, it is very important to note that this advice is non-binding. So it does not affect your admission in any way, but it's a good way for you to see and reflect if this is the right choice for you. We've heard from a lot of students who have already completed the matching module that this was a great tool to find out and finalize their choice for enrollment. So what does the time frame look like exactly? Admission is possible from October onwards, and the deadline for international students is April 1st, and for Dutch students and a few international students, the deadline is May 1st. It's important that you start your matching module as soon as possible so that you get your advice before the application deadline passes. Then, in September, hopefully you'll start your study in Leiden. And as I mentioned before, we've got a lot of different ways that we can guide you. So here's a list, an overview of them. So besides the teacher, mentor, and student mentor that you have, we also have the Pop Corner. The Pop Corner is a safe place for students where they can come and kind of vent any struggles or issues they may have, and also come together with other students. They organize a few pop talks per year, and they also give trainings and workshops, for example, about effective studying or time management. They also organize student-for-student activities. So this is a great place to go to if you have any questions about who you should go to when you're, for example, coping with stress or if you're studying with a disability. Moreover, we also have student psychologists and student counselors next to the study advisors I already talked about. And what's also very important to note is that we have a great diversity and inclusion network at our university. If you're interested in studying this program, where can you find more information? Well, once a semester, we have an open day. On these open days, you can kind of get a feel for the city, for the faculty, and you can attend live presentations to see if this program fits you. We also have the opportunity for you to attend an experience day or student for a day activity. On these days, you can get a first-hand experience of what it feels like to be a student for a day. And we also have an online experience module which is open 24/7. You can just attend it online and watch video lectures, answer some questions to see if this feels right for you. And lastly, you can also chat with students. You can ask them anything about the city, about student life, and they'll always happily try to help you. If you want more information, you can check out this website here. And that was the end of my presentation. So thank you for watching and good luck with choosing your study.